but not really. I am just so excited to be here on this Friday. And yeah, it's been an afternoon of working out and getting stuff done. And I was able to finish up strong here. We got some thunderstorms moving in here in central Kansas. And I thought, what a perfect time to sit out here on the front porch and finish up this week for our Galatians 6:9 study. I'm telling you what, this has been so timely, right? Of not growing weary and doing good. So if you are just joining us, that's what we've been doing for 7 weeks. My name is Amy and I am your hope slinger, but that's not important right now. What is important is we have been talking about the same verse for 7 weeks. And we got one more week to go. Now, it has been cut up into little bite-sized pieces that we have been chewing on, we have been thinking about, we have been discussing, we have been looking at. And can you believe that I have new friends on here, 124 of you to be exact? And I know that probably is laughable to some of you, especially if you're out there and you're an influencer yourself and you happen to come across this little channel that of this gal that doesn't even know what she's doing. And, maybe you're getting a good laugh at my expense. It's really okay. It brings me joy to know you're laughing because that's a good thing to have in today's world. Amen. So that's what I'm doing. We're just going over this one verse. And I said it from the very beginning, and I will say it until the last day that we have together. Everyone is welcome at this discussion. Now, you are not welcome to be disrespectful or to be hurtful. Okay? That's not the program of what we're doing here. But everybody has a seat at this table to question, to come on in and take a look at things maybe that you had already written off or you thought it wasn't for you. Maybe you're finding out that, yeah, there are some things for you. Hey, welcome. And so that's what we're doing. We're looking at this verse that has the audacity to tell us not to grow weary in doing good. Don't grow weary in doing good. I'll tell you what. I just want to read further into that verse, if for nothing else, just that, right? How on earth can we be told not to grow weary in doing good? That has been the interesting part of this, is unpacking that. And maybe what's being talked about here is not so much us growing physically weary, because we know that our bodies will wear out. We know that we get tired. We know things influence that. But what if it is talking more in a spiritual sense? And in fact, when we read on in the verse, we found out that that is what it's talking about. Because it says, do not grow weary in doing good. So it's more than just a physical state. It is you bringing your very light to this world that needs it. That's what we're not supposed to grow weary of doing. We're not supposed to get tired of that. We're not supposed to become disillusioned with that. These are all things that we've talked about up to now. And as we read on in that verse that says, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the right time you will reap a harvest if you don't give up. Okay, we're going to be looking at the very, very last part of that verse next week. And that last verse simply says, the last part of it says, if we don't give up. It says we will reap a harvest if we don't give up. Now, that has been an interesting discussion with us too, because we had to look at sowing and reaping and how that is not just a biblical principle. Like, it is kind of a principle and a foundation that the whole world was made on and how it turns. If you plant corn, you're going to get corn. If you plant an apple seed, an apple tree is going to grow up. Same thing. What we sow out into the world is the kind of harvest that we will reap. And that is very simple. Like, you don't have to even go to school to understand that one. You don't have to have any letters behind your name to get and grasp the simplicity of that. And I love that because I love things when they can be simple like that. So we talked about that. And I got some interesting comments about that one. Well, I mean, okay, let's be honest. I've had some interesting comments every time that I've come on here, and it's like I said, 5 nights a week for 7 weeks now. We take the weekends off. But there have been definitely some interesting comments. All I can say is that it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have respect. I can even throw in have respect for your elders because I am one. I am an elder. I am an older person at 54. But that's still very, very young. I would love for us to think about, because I always, especially when the weekend's coming up, I try to give you some things to mull over. And I don't grade you on these, so don't worry, even though I am a former substitute teacher. I would just say, what are you happy with what you've been sowing? Do you even believe that you're going to reap what you sow? Have you become so hardened with this world and all of its violence and yuck that you're like, it doesn't even matter? I would encourage you to think about the fact that it still does matter. It still does matter. And that still holds true, that we do reap what we sow. And so we're challenged not to grow weary in doing good, and we're challenged to continue to sow those good things out there into the world. I know, that's so backwards, and it's so not what a lot of people are doing. Doesn't matter. Does not matter, my friend. Because it said it. And that's what we have been commanded to do. And we can rest. When Jesus tells us to do something, it's always a good thing. If he says to do it, if he is in it, if we are seeking him with all of our hearts, and he's telling us something that doesn't contradict anything else that he said, we can have full assurance and faith in that. And I know, you might not be there, you might not really be like into Jesus and him, but I would invite you to look at what a relationship would look like with Jesus. Not with the church, not with religion, not with anything else you were raised on, but just with Jesus. If there's proof and everybody agrees that he actually did live, what if it's true that he loves you so incredibly much that he died for you? Like, just what if? Here's the great thing. You don't have to take my word for it. You can actually have a conversation with him about that. And you can come to him with an open heart and saying, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Can you help me out? And he will. But I digress. All we're doing is looking at one verse from the Bible. It's telling us to not give up and to continue to be light in this world, to be caring and compassionate, to be a good person. That's it. So I would encourage you to think on those good things this weekend, And yeah, if you even agree with the fact that you will reap what you sow. That's kind of a big question. If that's too heavy for you, then you can just, you can go back to the old standard of, do you think pineapple belongs on pizza? I don't know. Everyone has their own opinion on that. All right, guys. Hey, I am so excited. We've got one more week left, and we're going to look at if we don't give up. The very last of the verse, if we don't give up. And we're going to talk about all things not giving up. Okay? All right. Hey, thanks for hanging with me. If you haven't yet, and